Hi guys, so I've decided to make it a sewing candy video on how to fix this connector. So all the other ones are like this, and this one I wasn't paying attention to. I went into autopilot, and so this is now incorrect. So the first thing I need to do, because the bag is completely finished, is take out these rivets. So I use side cutters, and I just go from the back, and I kind of just squish the cap. As the first thing that I'm going to do. So I'm just going to squish this cap and basically I mutilate it, and quite often you can actually just pull it off. So I want to do that and then clip off anything excess. So these are just, side cutters from Hubby Shed. And I'm going to do the same to both of these. So basically we have to undo all the stuff we've done before I attach them. So this one's still a bit too chunky on the back here. You just want to chop off all that excess metal so that this then kind of just pulls out. Now, if it doesn't pull out easily, you've got to keep adjusting it. Is pretty much how that goes. But it's off there now, so you should just be able to pull those rivets through and off. And if you're still having trouble, so this one doesn't want to play ball, so you can just come from this side and chop it again. You just keep chopping it until it comes off. Sometimes it's really quick and it'll come straight off, and other times, like that one, it's a bit more tricky. So now it's been unattached from there. So the next job is we have to kind of get it out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the top stitching. So I'm going to cut it here at that one, which is at the edge here, and then I'm going to come across to this side, and I'm basically doing one stitch wider than the tab is. And then I'm just going to use my snips to kind of dig out or chop the stitches, whichever way it works out to be. Sometimes it'll chop, sometimes like that one, it will pull out. Right, so there we go. We've got a good start. Then I'm just going to keep moving along until we get to the other one. And again, that just pulled right out. You can also just snip the top ones and then pull out the back one, whichever way is going to suit you best. Sometimes it's easier to pull it, sometimes it's easier to snip it. So that has now been disassembled from there. So that's a good start. We've taken out our top stitching. Next up, I need to actually take out this stitching as well. So I'm going to go to just outside and I'm going to wiggle my snips in and then make a snip to get those stitches in there. Now I also basted this, which sometimes I am my own worst enemy. So I'm going to have to snip the basting stitches as well as the joining stitches. But once you're in, it goes a lot faster because you can get into the stitches there. So I've made like basically a gap so that I can get my snips in easier. You can also come from this side. So this side's going to work it even easier because see, I can now get in and I can see a gap. The gap is good. So I'm just snipping one thread at a time from the inside. And you can see them. I know you guys probably can't see them here, but I can see the stitches that I'm cutting. Because once you get that first one, you get a gap to kind of pull away, and then everything's clearer to see. So now that I've got that, I'm nearly there. Now I just need to cut that basting stitch line. So again, I'm pulling it up and just snipping the threads like that. So now I can just undo that put it through the right one, and so now it's going to look correct. But now we have to fix all of this stitching. So let me just move all of that out the way. The first thing I want to do is put all of that back pretty much to where it was. So I need to tuck under that bit. Now, obviously I can't just hold it there like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some skinny 1/4 inch or 6 mil double-sided tape and put it right on this edge here where we're not going to see it. Peel off the backing and then tuck it in, tuck under that edge, and basically sticky tape it together like that. And the best way to work out if you put it in the right spot is you can actually take a rivet and you could re-rivet this first so that it's going to hold everything the right distance away, because we obviously don't want to be changing our rivet holes because you can't. You'd have to make a whole new piece. So I'm actually going to rivet this on first and then stitch it shut to make sure that it's going to lay flat and not have any kind of ripples. So rivet it just like we did before. So you want to get them under the machine nice and flat and even, and then squish it, and same with the other side like that. And so now we still just have this little issue. So you want to tuck under that so it's flush like that. And then I just need to top stitch again. So I'm just going to angle it down so you can see. Now I could turn the bag inside out to do the top stitching, but I'm not trying to go the whole way around. I'm only trying to do here. Now, normally I would do this on the cylinder arm because it's just quicker. You can't argue with results, but for the purposes of teaching you, I'm actually instead going to splay the bag out and squish it this way. And so I'm going to start just off the gap. So I want to start maybe 2 or 3 stitches in, and then I'm going to roll back and go through them again. So I'm not technically back stitching here. And then this should be stitching through all of your layers. And then we're going to back stitch once we get just slightly off them. Now that particular edge there isn't actually going to take a lot of kind of force. Like the whole bag isn't hanging off that. It's actually hanging off the rivet. So we just needed to stitch it shut. And now it's all fixed. So that was a pretty quick fix. It took, what, 8 minutes. So there we go. That is how you fix those kinds of problems.